Not every spiritual battle is the same. Some demonic influences are easily driven away, while others seem resistant and unyielding. Many believers have wondered, why are some demons harder to cast out than others? The Bible gives us the answer through the story found in Matthew 17 verses 14 to 21 and Mark 9 verses 14 to 29, a powerful lesson on faith, prayer, and dependence on God. A desperate father brought his demon-possessed son to the disciples of Jesus, hoping for a miracle. These were the same men who had already healed the sick and cast out many demons before in Mark 6 verses 12 to 13. But this time, something was different. No matter what they tried, the demon would not leave the boy. When Jesus arrived, he immediately rebuked the unclean spirit, and the boy was healed instantly. Later, the disciples came to him privately and asked, "Why could we not cast it out?" Matthew 17 verse 19. Jesus replied, "Because of your little faith. For truly, I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you." Matthew 17 verse 20. And in Mark 9 verse 29, Jesus added, "This kind cannot be driven out by anything but prayer and fasting." The disciples' faith was real, but it wasn't deep enough for the level of opposition they faced. The boy had been possessed since childhood, Mark 9 verse 21. This was a deeply rooted spiritual bondage that required not just authority, but intimacy with God. Prayer and fasting are not formulas for power. They're preparation for dependence. Prayer connects us to God's presence and aligns our hearts with His will. Fasting humbles us, it quiets the flesh and sharpens our sensitivity to the Holy Spirit. Together, they strengthen our faith, positioning us to trust that God's power is greater than any demonic force. Jesus said faith like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds, can move mountains, Matthew 17:20. It's not about how much faith you start with, but how alive and growing that faith is. Faith matures through prayer, fasting, and walking closely with Christ. And as it grows, we stand firm against stronger opposition. So here's what we learn: not all battles are alike, some require deeper faith. Past victories don't guarantee future success. Prayer and fasting are tools of dependence, not magic, but surrender. Even small, growing faith releases God's power. And our true authority comes from intimacy with Him, John 15 verse 5. The disciples' failure wasn't because their faith was false, it just needed to grow. And the same is true for us. When life feels unshakable, it's not time to give up, it's time to press deeper into prayer, into fasting, and into faith. True power in the Christian life doesn't come from what we've done for God, but from being rooted in His presence.